Hello everyone and welcome back to Lucky Loaders 15, where I'll be giving you my day preview for the 2021 Cheltenham Festival. We'll be going through all 7 races and hopefully we can find some winners. Now before we get stuck into that, I quickly just want to reflect on how our picks ran on the first day. In the end, it wasn't a good start for us as we came away with no winners. A lot of our selections did run well below form in the end. Our best results, but they weren't anything really to write home about, were I Right in the Ultima. He managed to get the place money advertised at 6-1 each way. I don't think Dickie gave him the perfect ride. If you actually go back and watch some of his race replays on his most recent starts, he's actually made the run-in on his last 2 occasions over fences, and that's what's really set him up to get into a good rhythm and put the others under pressure. But if you go back and you watch the start of the race today, he was shuffled back through the pack early on, which just really played against his chances, in my personal opinion. Dickie did well, I suppose, to get him back into contention, and just to track the leaders. But in the end, if you look at how the race was run, especially as well with the winner, Vintage Clouds, nothing was coming on really passing him. And I think if you put him in the front rank today, I think he would have gone a lot closer. Obviously, it's hard to know if he would have beaten Vintage Clouds, but I think his chances went really from the start of the race, and he just did well to hang in there and earn a place. So that's how that selection went for us. Ascara 10 got us our money back, advertised at 5-1 each way. Ran a good solid race, was actually just in front, jump in the last. I thought he had every chance, but in the end Galvin just had a couple of more gears going up the hill. So yeah, that's the only 2 things of note that really went well for us today. Now I know a lot of people would have been backing the favourites, and yeah, to be fair, I was proved wrong. Appreciate it in the Supreme. I thought he just might struggle today. Really, to be honest with you, I thought Cheltenham might not be his track and something might come out of left field. I put up Grumpy Charlie, and obviously that was a horrendous selection. In the end, Chris Honor's horse just couldn't go the gallop from the go, and Brian Carver was always niggling away, trying to keep him up with the pace. But yeah, that wasn't a good result for us. We then looked in the Arkle in the without markets away from Shishkin. I knew Shishkin would win, but I wasn't confident really to put him up at such a short price. And also as well, I don't think he was really worth a bet. Only maybe one for multiples. But yeah, Shishkin obviously was an impressive winner today of the Arkle. But yeah, my selection, Franco Deporte, who I said would finish second behind Shishkin, or hoping at least he would finish second behind Shishkin, was just left too far behind. And I think also as well, the ground didn't help him today. I think the ground went against quite a few of my selections. I thought it would be maybe riding more on the soft side, but I think, to be honest, even though it's officially changed to good soft, I'm expecting it to go good in the morning, because in my opinion it was riding a lot quicker than I thought it would, and I think the ground just completely went against Franco Deporte. So yeah, that was frustrating there. Goshen, the least said about that, the better. Just didn't give us running at all today and hated going left-handed. Got away with it last year at Cheltenham, but yeah, in the end was no match for the impressive winner that was Honeysuckle. Not quite sure what she beat him behind, but she couldn't have done it any more impressively. And in the end, it was just class above, and it was a good ride by Rachel Blackmore. So yeah, I admit I got that one wrong. And then in the mares, Roxana, we put her up. In the end, I wasn't quite happy with the ride Harry Skelton gave her. To be honest, I just think she gave Concertisa a big target to track her, really, because in my personal opinion, I thought they should have run in the stairs, but I respect what the Skeltons know, obviously, about their horses. Great trainer, and also as well, Harry Skelton, a great jockey. But I thought on this occasion, they maybe just didn't quite get it right. Harry Skelton was just tracking the pace, sitting in third behind Great White Shark and Floressa, and was just setting it up for the others, really. She did well to hang in there, to finish in third place. But yeah, as soon as Concertista entered the home straight, you always knew she was going to be up against it. And Black Tears, to be fair, so was a worthy winner, had some good form from last season at the Cheltenham Festival, finishing second in the Coral Cup, and was played late at the right time. And I think that's the kind of ride Harry Skelton should have done today. He should have been tracking Concertista, in my opinion, because we know she's got a good, strong travelling speed, and I think that's the way he should have played it today. And yeah, just again, not our day. So yeah, it wasn't a great start to day one. I know some people looking in the comments box wouldn't have had a good day either. Some of you obviously would have, because I know you probably would have put some of those short price favourites in the multiple bets. But yeah, I think it's going to get a little bit tricky as we move throughout the week. But Cheltenham's never easy. There's always a lot of odds-on favourites that do get overturned, and there's always some value to be had out there. So yeah, let's get into it then. Stop waffling, let's get into it. Day 2 tips for tomorrow's racing, and we're going to be starting with the Ballymore Novices Hurdle runs in the 120 at Cheltenham, and this is where we're going to be going for my next best. Now I've kind of changed my mind on this race really due to the ground, as I expect it to be least good to soft, more on the good side tomorrow, and I'm going to be going here with my next best of the day with Bravemansgame for Harry Cobden and Paul Nicholls. Now we haven't seen him since he won the Cheltenham Hurdle at Newbury, but you have to say it was a really impressive performance that day, beating Stargate and the Glancing Queen. He put in a lot of distance between themselves, he did, and it was a very taken performance. Obviously there was the comparisons to Denman, but this horse looks a smart type, you know, and I think the key to him tomorrow is the good ground. All his best performances have come when the ground has been good. Both his wins at Newbury were on good ground. Exeter as well, his good performance there where he beat Emma Lavelle's horse, that was on good ground. And also as well, he's got form if you go back far enough with Sceau and Glory, so he's had a lot of good novice form so far this season, and the conditions I think will be really in his favour tomorrow. And if you look at his two main market rivals, I do think it is between the front three of the market. Bob Ollinger is already being backed off the boards. I can see why, because Jamie Codd said it was a certainty, and obviously the Blackmore and Henry de Bromhead combo. But for me, if you look at the form of this horse, yet to encounter good to soft ground, and that would just be a slight negative for me, and I wouldn't want to be taking such a short price. Gallo de Manil is maybe a horse that I think could be the biggest danger to Bravemansgame, but I'm not sure what he quite finds off the bridle, and if it comes to a fight, I would rather be on Bravemansgame side, who to me just looks a really hardy type and would be really up for the battle. And I think at 4-1, I think that's a fairly big price for this horse, and that's why he's going to be my next best of the day, and I'm going to recommend a 1-point win bet here. We then go to the now Brown Advisory, obviously replacing the RSA Chase, and it's actually going off at the time of 1:55 tomorrow. I'm not used to all these Cheltenham times, we're used to them starting at 1:30, but yeah, the Brown Advisory replacing the RSA starts at 1:55 tomorrow, and obviously Monkfish is the favourite here and will take all the beating. I actually do have a bet with Shishkin, Monkfish and Envoy LN to win all the novice chase between them. Obviously all the ones they're going for, I got it on I think it was December time at 33-1, so I'm really hopeful that's going to land. But yeah, I'm not going to put Monkfish up here for win purposes. I'm going to look in the without markets again. But the one I'm going to play with here is the big breakaway for Harry Cobden and Colin Tizard. Now, you can currently back this horse in the without markets away from Monkfish at 2-1, and that price was available at the time recording with Bet365. Going to recommend a 1-point win bet here. Now, this horse, the big breakaway, has been a little bit of a monkey on a couple of his starts this season. He won, I thought, quite well on his chase debut at Cheltenham, and then things didn't go to plan where he ran over a shorter trip at Exeter behind Bold Plan. But I just think the Tizard's horses weren't running particularly well then, and also as well, I think it was the wrong trip for him. He then showed a little bit more of his natural ability when he finished second behind Chamblou in the Quarter Star Novices Chase at Christmas time. Despite making a few errors, you could really see his engine that day, and he looks a high quality horse, and you could just think if he put all that together, he could put in a really smart round of jumping tomorrow. I think returning to Cheltenham, going back to the scene of his initial chase success, is a good move, and Colin Tizard's stable are coming into a little bit better form now. In the last week or so, they have been having winners. They had a double, I think they did, at Taunton on Monday. And also as well, Eldorado Allen didn't run a bad race for them, finishing second in the Arkle. And I think the key to him is going to be the better ground. A lot of his best form has come on good ground. So again, that's going to be in his favour tomorrow. A lot to like about his chances, I think, to finish second behind Envoy Island. And I think at 2-1 there, that's a reasonable price, and he's going to be my recommended bet in the Brown Advisory Chase. We then go with my nap of the day, which is going to be running in the Coral Cup, and I'm going to be putting up Thomas Darby here for Aidan Coleman and Ollie Murphy. Now, you can currently back this horse at the time recording with SkyBet at 12-1, who are offering a mighty 7 places on the race, and I'm going to recommend a 1 point each way selection here. Now, this horse, despite having to shoulder top weight, is one of the more classier types in the race. He's got a lot of good back class to his name. This season he's been running okay. His last effort at Kempton in the rearranged Raquel hurdle, I thought was a good effort behind the likes of McFabulous and on the blind side. Obviously, McFabulous did let the form down on his next start, but I don't think he gave his running that day at all. But on the blind side of Nicky Henderson's, went on to win on his next start at Market Rasen, and also as well ran a respectable race behind Third Wind in the Grade 2 Rendlesham hurdle at Haydock. So there was a lot of fair form from that Raquel hurdle. And off the mark of 155, he's been dropped a few pounds. I think that's more within his range. If you go back through his form far enough, at Ascot last season, he beat Song for Someone off a big weight, and Song for Someone, until obviously he was turned over by Goshen last time, had been putting in some good performances since then. So that was a good form line. And also as well, his record at Cheltenham's pretty good. He's only run there twice in his career, where he's had a win and a second place, which came in the Supreme behind Classical Dream back in 2019. So he's got a lot of good course form. And also as well, the key to him will be the drying out ground. He's got a lot of good form on good to soft ground. So again, that's another tick in the box, and I expect a good promising ride tomorrow. He's also as well got some headgear applied, so I think that might just sharpen him up, and I expect a good run from him tomorrow. Top weights don't have a bad record in this race at all. You might remember Nicky Henderson won it with William Henry when he shouldered top weight a couple of years ago. The other one I do like for the race is Monte Cristo, but I think Henderson's could be a little bit in and out at the moment. But I think Thomas Darby, I think this has been the plan. He's coming here off a break. He goes well fresh, likes the ground, likes the course, and is one of the classiest horses in the race. And I think at 12-1 with 7 places, I think that's a cracking each way bet. And that's why he's going to be my nap of the day. And he runs then in the 2:30, the Coral Cup at Cheltenham. We then go to the big race of the day, the Queen Mother Champion Chase, the 305 at Cheltenham. A lot of people here are obviously going to like Chacun Pour Soi, be putting him in your multiples, or maybe if you fancy backing him singly, but I'm going to take him on. I don't know why. He's just a horse I've never warmed to, but you have to respect him, and he deserves to be the favourite. Maybe in my opinion shouldn't be quite so short. I think he should be more around about a 5-4 shot personally, because he's never run at Cheltenham, and also as well there are 1 or 2 doubts in my mind about the ground. I'm not sure if he would like it drying out. A lot of his best efforts have come on soft and heavy ground. So for me, I think that's definitely a couple of question marks he's got to overcome tomorrow, and I'm just wondering if the course at Cheltenham, the uphill finish, might suit him. And I'm going to take him on with a bigger price horse tomorrow, and this horse has been in the form of his life arguably this season, and that's Sceau Royale. Now some of you might be going, God, why are you tipping Sceau Royale for? We know everything that we need to know about him. But however, like I've been saying, good ground, it's going to be good ground tomorrow, and the key to him is good ground. He's never had good ground when he's ran in the Champion Chase before, and all his best form has come when it's been good ground. He's been in some decent form this season. He's been mixing it between hurdles and fences. He was an impressive winner last time out, beating Champ in the Game Spirit Chase, and also as well he won the Welsh Champion hurdle, which had some really rock solid form to it. He won. He also has won the Elite hurdle at Kempton back in November, so he had a lot of good form next to his name, and it was a really taken effort, I thought, last time out. Now he's finally going to get his ground, and actually he can handle Cheltenham no problem at all. He's won there over the course and distance in the past, and also as well he ran a mighty race when he finished 3rd behind Altior and Politolog back in the 2019 Champion Chase, where if you go back and watch the replay, he actually, just for a moment, he was in the lead as they jumped the last. So I think with the conditions coming into play, I think he's got a big chance tomorrow. I expect the likes of Politolog and a couple of others first flow to be handy, and it could just set up for him under patient ride. And I think at 16-1, I think that's a great each way shout. I'm going to recommend a 0.5 each way selection here, and I think he's been a little bit underestimated in the market, and if the ground does continue to dry out, I could see a lot more each way support coming for him. So he's going to be the way I'm playing in the Champion Chase. But if you want to back Chacun Pour Soi, I'm not going to put you off, but I just think Cheltenham might not be his track at the end of the day. We then go to the cross-country chase, a bit of a Marmite race for some people, and a lot of people are just going to be thinking Easy Lands turns up and wins this. However, I'm not so sure. As part of my role at Sky Sports Racing as a researcher, I do have to have a fair knowledge of French racing, and obviously I do follow the French racing very closely with my job, and to me, I think there's quite a few negatives against Easy's Lands. Now, I was all over him for this race last year because he was in unbelievable form and he was an impressive winner back in December at the cross-country race back then. But I just think he's not coming here in the same form. I thought it was a lacklustre run last time out at Cheltenham. The ground, in my opinion, won't be in his favour. He likes it deep and testing. The ground won't be in his favour, in my opinion. And also as well, the major negative is David Cotin. His horses have not been running well in France at all. Quite a few of them have been overturned. I think he's had 1 or 2 issues in his yard, and for me, this horse is only a short price favourite just on reputation alone. And even though, yes, he was very classy last year, I'm going to be wanting to take him on. Now, what do you take him on with? Now, I think I found one here at a bit of a price, and that is Hogan's Height for Gavin Sheehan and Jamie Snowden. Now, Jamie Snowden is a bit of a strange trainer in the way that he's very capable. And sometimes when you think you've not got one of his, they can sometimes come out and win at a big price. And this Hogan's Height, actually, I think he might like this discipline, because if you go back through his form back in 2019, he actually won the Grand Sefton Chase when he absolutely romped home that day with Tom Cannon aboard. He won it so well. And I like horses that have done well in the cross-country discipline. They normally can apply their trade in the cross-country sphere very well if they've jumped those national fences. Now, Hogan's Height, he's a 10-year-old, but I think he's got a really good chance in this race tomorrow. He's already had a spin over hurdles at Wincanton just to blow away the cobwebs, but the drying out ground tomorrow will be in his favour at Cheltenham. He's won on good ground before. He's won over 3 miles before. I just think there could be a lot to like about his chances tomorrow. Obviously, I'm taking a bit of a flyer on one. You can get 28 to 1 at the time recording, 4 places Betfair. I'm going to recommend a 0.5 each way selection here, but I think he's got a good chance. Now, obviously, he's got to prove it on ratings, but the ground should be in his favour. And Jamie Snowden actually had a winner of a cross-country race a couple of years ago with a horse called Fact of the Matter. So he knows what it takes, and he knows the kind of profile of the horse you need to win round here. So yeah, I think he's got a big chance of running a good race at a big price. And for me, he's going to be he's going to be my long shot of the day. He's actually the biggest price horse I'm putting up. So yeah, Hogan's Height, I think he's got a really good chance in this race tomorrow. And yeah, that's why he's going to be my long shot in the cross country. Hogan's Height for me, taking on Easy's Lands. We then go to an extra tip. This is for the Grand Annual. All of these races have been messed around this year. Normally used to see in the Grand Annual on the last day, but my horse for the Grand Annual is going to be On the Slopes for Tom Cannon and Chris Gordon. Now, I know that this has been the plan. You can currently back him at 22 to 1 with bookmakers at the moment. 6 places on offer of SkyBet, and I'm going to recommend a 0 point each way selection here. Now, this horse On the Slopes has actually got some good back form if you go back far enough. He actually ran a really good eye-catching race over 2.5 miles here last season when he finished 3rd behind Simply the Bets and Imperial Aura, and that was really good form. After that, he went on to win a couple of races when he was dropped back in trip to 2 miles when he won at Kempton, and he was put up in the weights to a mark of 143, which is the mark he first ran off this season, where he ran a good race behind Rouge Fifth, where he probably just needed it that day, and ran well for a long way. And Rouge Fifth was just the typical graded animal in a handicap, you know, and I thought it was a really respectable run. He's had a couple of issues. He's had a spin no in jumpers bumpers recently, and a wind up, and it's actually going to be his second run after a wind up tomorrow, so I think that will suit him. And I think also as well, the handicap has given him a good chance now off a mark of 140, which I think is fairly workable. He's a good jumper, he likes to be handy, and those tactics can often pay very well in the Grand Annual. I just think he's got a massive chance, and on some of his back form could have won a good race in him off a mark of 140. And Chris Gordon's horses haven't been running too badly of late. So a lot to like about On the Slopes' chances tomorrow, and that's why he's going to be my selection in the Grand Annual. We then end going to the Champion Bumper, the 450, the last race on the card here, and I'm going to be going with 3 Stripe Life for Jack Kennedy and Sneezy Foster. You can currently back this horse at the time recording with PaddyPower, who offer an 8 to 1 and 4 places. I'm going to recommend a 0.5 each way selection here. Now, this horse, okay, we've only seen him once when he was an impressive winner at Navan. I'm not sure exactly what he beat that day, but he couldn't have done it any more impressively. However, I think he's got a lot more to come. And actually, if you go back and you watch the race and look at the time, it actually wasn't a bad time for the grade that day. And for me, I'm not sure if the likes of Sir Gerhard and also as well Kilcrut, I'm not sure they're all that, you know, and I'm not sure if they will like the better ground. And I'd like to take something with a bigger price. And I think if you actually go back and you look at the pedigree, I think it's Leading Light is this horse's sire. He's got a lot of good form on a quicker surface. So I think there's a lot to like about this horse. Also as well, this horse, its dam was a bumper winner as well. So there's a lot to like about the breeding of this horse to suggest it's going to run really well in this race tomorrow. And has got, I think, got a good chance on its pedigree of handling the ground. And at 8-1, I think it's an absolute steal with 4 places. To be honest, I think this is a really weak renewal of the champion bumper, and I'll be looking to take something the top 2 on with something a little bit bigger. Obviously, he's up there in the betting, but I think he was quite a big price there, and we know the trainer, obviously now Sneezy Foster, when it was with Gordon Elliott, likes to target the champion bumper's got a good record in it over the years. So for me, 3 Stripe Life, I think it's got a very good chance of making the frame tomorrow, and it's going to be my final tip for day 2. So yeah, that's my full preview for day 2. If you want to know what the selections are, there'll be a full list of them in the description box below. Also as well, if you haven't done so already, please remember to subscribe to my YouTube channel here, hit the thumbs up button, and also as well, if you want to follow me on social media, the best place to do so is on Twitter, where my handle is at LuckyLoader15. And if you want to find out a little bit more about myself, my website address is www.chrisloaderracing.co.uk. So please gamble responsibly. Hopefully we can have some winners tomorrow, and we'll be seeing you soon.